I can see your head in the mirror. In this little bit. I can see your head. Do I have to start again now? Hey gems, and welcome or welcome back to another one of my videos. Today's video is going to be another recap roundup of everything that we've made so far this year, and all of this stuff is from April, May and June, so let's just get crack-a-lackin'. So one of the only things that I made in the month of April was one jumper, and you'll see why in a minute that it's the only thing that I made in April, but that was my Robin Raglan jumper. And I know I say this about like everything that I make, but this truly might be one of my most favorite pieces I've ever made and is the piece that I am the most proud of. I said that about my cat, my rainbow cat jumper, which I am still very, very proud of and is probably actually my top #1 favorite piece I've ever made. But this is my favorite piece for another reason, and that's because it's knitted. It's probably my most well constructed knitted jumper thus far, and it holds a lot of meaning to me as well. And it took me forever because one, it's knitted. I'm always slower with knitting than I am with crochet, and two, I used smaller needles than I have used before. So all the other raglans that I had made prior to this, I was using 8mm needles and either chunky yarn or like doubled up Aran yarn. On this jumper I used 5mm needles, and it was kind of like it wasn't quite an Aran, but it was like an in-between Aran and DK weight yarn, so it was a lot smaller is what I'm trying to say than the previous raglans I'd made. And not only that, but I did duplicate stitch on it as well. And I chose to do duplicate instead of like intarsia or just colour work in general because I'm not good at colour work yet. I can't get my tension right. It's not the same as crocheting colour work. So whilst I'm very good at that, it's a completely different ballpark when it comes to knitting. So I'd done duplicate stitch on my mom sweater last video, and I just thought I'll do it again this time around. I love how this piece came out. It fits really well. The only issue is I wish I had made the body of it a little bit wider, just because it tends to like hug my waist a little bit, but when you're wearing it and walking around, it's not that noticeable. It's fine. And I thought I had made the sleeves too wide when I first finished it, but now it's blocked. I think it looks fine. I think it looks good. But yeah, I'm just super happy with this. I once again followed Made in the Moment's top-down raglan tutorial on YouTube. There was another video that I watched as well to kind of like help me with the sleeves, because in Made in the Moment's video they only show you how to like do a short sleeve, and on my other raglans I'd done long sleeves and the sleeves hadn't come out quite how I wanted them to. So I will try and put on the screen somewhere the other video that I watched to help me figure out the sleeves, because it was really, really helpful. Really, really good video. And then I also followed Made in the Moment's duplicate stitch tutorial to figure out the technique of how to put my robin onto the jumper. You can get the robin graph if you would like. It is on my Ko-fi. It's only £1, pay what you want, because some people were asking for it, so I said here you go. Robins are quite special to me and my family. To a lot of people, robins are like a sign of a loved one who has passed coming to visit you, and it's quite comforting for me and my family. We have a lot of robins here in the UK, and yeah, I've always wanted to make something with a robin on. It was also inspired by when we went to see Divorce a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of months ago now I guess, and they have a song called Birds, and one of the lines is, "Birds, all I see is birds on your shirt." And when we met them and spoke to them, I joked about how I needed to make a shirt with a bird on it. So here it is. So it's kind of got like a double meaning, this jumper does. The yarn is Leaders of the Pack from Hobbycraft, and it is part alpaca, part acrylic. So it's got an interesting texture. It's not that scratchy. It was before I blocked it, but now I've blocked it and it's a lot softer. It's really nice, but it is really warm. It's very warm, so I can't wear it right now. It is summer in the UK and it has been hot as hell recently. Today it's cooled off, hence why I'm wearing a jumper. But yeah, so yeah, that is my Robin Raglan, and I love this piece. And like I said, it was like the only thing I made during April. April was a pretty busy month. So after I made the raglan, I was really burnt out with just crafting in general and making quite large pieces, and I turned to tapestry crochet because that's like my specialty. It's so funny. It's kind of weird me saying that, or like I find it weird when I say that, but I do a lot of crochet workshops at work, and when people ask me like what I like to do, you know, I say, oh, I like to make jumpers and cardigans, but like my specialty is colour work. I've always loved colour work. I think it's just so much more, keeps my brain really active. I love just having to sit down and really focus on the thing that I'm making. So yeah, I turned to tapestry crochet to kind of get me out of that crochet burnout. And one of my favorite crocheters when it comes to crochet tapestry in particular is OK Shawbiz on Instagram and Ko-fi, and I've been subscribed to their Ko-fi like membership for quite a while now, so I have a ton of her patterns, but at this point I hadn't gotten around to doing any of them, and I have so many. And so when I saw that the week that I had this burnout, she was about to release one of my most anticipated patterns of hers yet, I was like, right, now is the time. So she released this like produce tapestry set that had 3 different patterns on it. There was some blueberries, some corn, and some tomatoes, and they just looked so cool, and that's what I did. I've only made 2 of the 3 so far, so I made the blueberries and the tomatoes because they were like my 2 favorite. The corn will get done at some point, but these ones were just super cool in my eyes, and I love them. I love how the colors came out, and what I love about like tapestry crochet in general is how you can take a graph and kind of make it your own just with the colors and like your color choices. I just think it's so cool. So yeah, I love how all the colors came out. It was a great stash buster. I didn't have to buy any new yarn, which is another thing that I love about tapestry crochet. Often if you're making something small as well, obviously these weren't tiny, these were quite big. You often don't need that much yarn to make them, so it's a great like stash buster if you have like a little bit of yarn left over. It's really good. These graphs were really well put together, really well designed, and I just love how they came out. Oh, actually, before I made these, I made a tapestry for my friend's birthday. My friend Charlotte is obsessed with chickens. Like, they're like her most favorite thing on this entire planet. And so for her birthday, I made her a little tapestry that is also from OK Shawbiz. And I slightly altered the graph to make the chickens look more like Charlotte's chickens. All of the chickens on here, I got Charlotte to send me pictures of hers. And yeah, like I said, I altered the pattern ever so slightly to like make sure that they all had the right characteristics. Oh my gosh, that Childish Chickens did. I was a little bit nervous about posting it because I didn't want OK Shawbiz to be offended that I'd like altered the pattern. But they were so nice about it. They were like, this is my favorite thing about creating art, is being able to see people interpret it in their own unique way. Can the dog stop fighting? Can you close the window? I told him not to listen to me and now he really is not listening to me. Scott, can you shut the window? Perfect, thank you. Is this the Magic the Gathering?
This is the Magic Commander at Home. It's essentially a podcast, but they just sat playing Magic as well.
Does anyone here play Magic the Gathering? Should I play it? Is it fun? Who knows? Anyway, where was I? Chickens. Yeah, so I made this. And Charlotte loved it. Yeah, she didn't know it was coming. All I told her was to send me pictures of her chickens and I was going to do something with it. So yeah, that was really fun as well. And yeah, just the crafting community and like being able to take something and make it your own is just really fun. And it's really nice when the person who made it understands why you did it. You know what I mean? So those are the first 3 tapestries that I made. And then when I was hanging them all on my wall in my bedroom, because that's where most of my tapestries are, because I don't really have the space in my office to hang all of the tapestries. Instead I have these bookcases full of toys. All of my tapestries are basically in my bedroom, and when I was hanging them I was like, there's this little square that's missing something. So I went back through all of my graphs, and another one from OK Shawbiz was all these like small 30 by 30 folksy kind of designs, and so I chose to make this little fish one. These little like orange and blue and yellow fish. I just think they're really cute. And there's a really nice placeholder and filler for that area on my wall. And we're not done with the OK Showbiz Tapestries, I have one more to talk about, and this one was a big one. And now, if you know me, like personally, you'll know that I hate moths. I hate anything flying around my head. If there is a moth in my room, no matter how big it is, I freak out, I run out of the room, and I get Scott to catch it and throw it out the window. But with all that being said, there is a tapestry that she made called the Lunar Flight, and it is just so beautiful. So I knew I had to make it, and it's a big one. It's a big boy, and it took me a lot longer than usual, or to be honest expected to make. It only uses 2 colors as well, but I was like, it was just such a big project, it was really hard to like handle at times, and I really love how this piece came out. In her version she used black and white, but I'm not a huge black and white kind of person despite what I'm wearing right now. So I found this really cool yarn in my stash that is like cream with like speckles running through it, so it's like a sparkly cream yarn, and I paired it with this blue yarn that I have, and I just think it looks really nice. I think blue and cream go really nicely together, and it still gave that like night sky, nighttime kind of vibe without it being too intense. I really like this piece. Again, it took me a long time to make, but that's the price of doing big beautiful art, I guess. But that one piece is actually hanging in my office. It's I've kind of redone my wall. You guys have probably never actually seen the wall that's next to me before, but it used to be covered in posters that I'd bought from like past Comic-Cons when I was like 16, 17, and whilst I love them all so much, they were starting to fall down and it wasn't really the vibe. So I've rearranged it, and I've actually hung on the wall my everything vest that I made in the last roundup video that I got the band to sign. I've framed it and hung it on the wall, and then I have my peg box that Yarnsmith sent me last year that has like all of the swatches on pegs. I've hung that up, and then I also have my Lunar Flight tapestry, so maybe I'll put a picture of that here for you guys. So yeah, love that piece. It's really cool, really fun to make, just took a long time. So we are out of the tapestry section of this video, and now we're on to like the clothes that I made. And I've been making a lot of my own designs recently because I am trying so hard to work on a pattern for 2 of my pieces. And me and Scott sat down the other day to start writing the pattern, and guys, it's so much harder than I thought. There's so many more things that go into writing a pattern. I say this every single time, but there truly is so much you have to think about. And whilst I thought I had gotten all the information that I needed to start writing it, it turns out I had not. So it's going to be a while. Stuff like that just takes me a long time anyway, so apologies, but I am working on it. One of the first things that I made was my Parti Cardi, but in a vest form. I really like this piece. I used Lily's Sugar and Cream in the colour Key Lime Pie, and this was perfect because my nan had actually bought me a cone of this, like, it's not this birthday, it must have been the birthday before, and I've been saving it for like, not a special project, but like a specific project, and this took up one whole skein. Like, I had like this much yarn left over. It was so good. Or one whole cone, I should say, probably. I had been wanting to make a vest version of my Parti Cardi for quite a while, just to see how it would work and see how it would look, and again, I really like how it came out. The stiffness of the cotton doesn't let it sit as well as I had hoped, but it's a cute little like layered piece. It'll be really nice in the summer. I actually haven't worn it yet because I'm a little bit self-conscious of my arms, but that's just a whole other thing. So yeah, one whole cone though. I was like, perfect. It was the perfect yarn for the perfect project. And I did, on this one, I did a crab stitch border for like the edges, and I love it. I love a crab stitch border. You're going to see how much I love a crab stitch border when I talk about the rest of the projects. Yeah, I think a crab stitch is just the perfect way to like round off a piece. It looks really, really nice. That was the first Parti Cardi that I made. The second Parti Cardi that I made was a solid Parti Cardi. So the original design of the Parti Cardi incorporates double crochets and the mesh stitch, and like alternating between the two and making it quite like a nice, like I said, layered piece and really good for the summer. But I wanted something that had a little bit more coverage. So like I said, I made another one. And this yarn I was sent by We Are Knitters like over a year ago. And it's their mixed organic cotton yarn. It's a really, really lovely yarn, but I didn't want to waste it, or I didn't want to start a project and then run out. And you know, because it feels like a special yarn. It's quite expensive yarn as well, so like I said, I just didn't want to waste the opportunity. So I bit the bullet, and I have enough to make another one. So I really didn't need to be worried about it at all. This is my Parti Cardi, but solid, and I really like how this came out. I wear this one all the time. The colours are really nice. Blue isn't my favourite colour, but it's probably my most worn colour. Not just because my hair's blue, but I feel like blue is just a neutral in my eyes. I don't know. I like the length of the sleeves. I like the croppedness of it. It's really, really fluid. Is that the word? A lot of people complain that crochet is quite stiff and doesn't have any like movement to it, but because this yarn is made out of a really like thin, lightweight cotton, it's really breathable, it's really movable, it's just a really nice yarn. I would recommend this yarn. It's really, really nice. They also sent me this yarn in 2 other colours, in green and pink, so I might have to make a green and pink version of it one day. I don't know. I think that'd be really cute as well. But yeah, I also did a crab stitch border for this cardigan. Again, it just tied the piece together. I don't know. So the next piece is actually reworked from a piece that I made in the last video. So if you remember, I was sent by Yarnsmith their new Lagoon yarn. I believe it's just called Lagoon. And it's really, really gorgeous, like forest green mixed kind of colour variegated yarn, and I started making a Parti Cardi with it, but I didn't like how the Parti Cardi was fitting. I hadn't taken my measurements quite correctly, or I hadn't followed my instructions properly, so I undid it all and I was like, I'm gonna make something different. And this is actually my bottoms up jumper, but in a cardigan form, and I love how this came out. I think it is so nice. I love these buttons as well. I bought these from Hobbycraft. I've got some like little wooden flowers and some green, almost like pearlescent kind of buttons. They match the cardigan really, really well. But yeah, I love how this fits. I love this yarn. This yarn is so nice, and the colours of this yarn, gorgeous. So nice. Again, green is my favourite colour, so anything green is gonna be a win in my book. So this cardigan was constructed in the same way. Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Yeah, this yarn was constructed in the same way. This cardigan was constructed in the same way I construct my bottoms up jumper. I just didn't connect the round. I like kept it split in the middle. So it's kind of like a mixture of my Parti Cardi and my bottoms up jumper. I made it short sleeve because I thought I was going to run out of yarn, but I probably could have made it long sleeve. I might make it long sleeve in the future, but for now I'm going to keep it short sleeve. It's not that warm, but it's not that breathable either. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it was really nice to wear when the weather was like just getting warm, but it was still like chilly outside. I really, really like this piece. It's probably going to be worn quite often. Yeah, I think so. We've got another Parti Cardi, ladies and gentlemen, what can I say? But this was the Parti Cardi that I made to like take pictures of and really refine the design and make sure that what I was doing was making sense and I could keep track of everything. And I probably will need to make another one to take even more pictures that I like missed the first time round. Up until this point, I had not made a Parti Cardi that was like one solid colour. I'd either done stripes or I'd used a variegated yarn. So this is my first Parti Cardi that is plain, and it's green. And this is my favourite shade of green. Like, I love this green. I either love this green or like a deep emerald green, but this is becoming my new favourite green. And this is from Yarnsmith. It is the shade Apple. and it's really nice. I just love how this Parti Cardi came out. It fits really, really nicely. Did I do a crop stitch border for this one? Yup, did a crop stitch border for this one too. But yeah, I really nailed the increases and decreases. I kind of figured out a little way to make sure that there's not too much bulk under the arms. This is probably the most well constructed Parti Cardi, and quite frankly it should be at this point. I've made so many of them. This is kind of like the Parti Cardi. And I don't know if the name quite makes sense like now after making so many, and like the reason it was called Parti Cardi in the beginning was because it was made using quite a fun, vibrant, multicolored yarn. I don't know, I think we'll keep the name. This is my like what 5 millionth Parti Cardi at this point. It's made out of acrylic, so it's not as cool as my other ones. The other ones are kind of made out of cottons and stuff, which I've been wearing more recently because like I said, it's warm. This one's got like a two row repeat, and my other ones have had like 4 row repeats. So again, I like the texture of this. Yeah, I love everything about this cardigan, this Parti Cardi in particular. But moving on, this is my last wearable that I have made this month, or at least jumper cardigan wearable, and this is another bottoms up jumper. And again, this bottoms up jumper was made with the intention of taking pictures and recording the process to then make into a pattern. This one is going to be easier to write than the Parti Cardi because the Parti Cardi has like some interesting stitches and interesting decreases. I kind of wanted to make the Parti Cardi first because it's summer now, but quite frankly by the time I finish writing it, it's probably going to be winter time, so I may as well just get started on this one first. But yeah, this bottoms up jumper is really cool. I've been wanting to do something like this for a long time, and I actually got inspired to make this jumper when I was making the tomato tapestry from before, because I loved how the red and the yellow and the green look together. So this is the bottoms up jumper. It is this really cool red and green stripes with this massive yellow star on the front, and the star is actually made out of felt that I hand sewed on to give it this really nice like mixed media, extra handmade kind of feel. And I really like how this came out. I did just a really thin kind of collar ribbing with it, with a crab stitch border once again. It's quite oversized, it's quite boxy. It'll be really nice in the winter when you want to be warm but you don't want to feel constricted. So that's the vibe I was going for. And I'm hoping it doesn't look too Christmassy. Like it looks kind of Christmassy because it's red and green with a massive star on the front of it, but I feel like you could dress this up for any kind of season. I hope. All of this yarn is from Yarnsmiths once again. It is apple, green and crimson red, and I think this is either primrose yellow or bright yellow. I can't quite remember which one it is, but all of this yarn is from Yarnsmiths. They kindly sent me the green and red for this project, and then the yellow I had left over from my cat Afghan jumper. Again, I'm working on a pattern, guys, okay? It just takes so much more time than I thought. I say this every time, but there's a lot that goes into it, okay? Hey guys, VTube me hopping in here to talk about a jumper that I forgot to talk about when I recorded it properly. This was a raglan jumper that I was working on in the last video, and I got round to finishing it, but frustratingly enough, I talked about how the cakes weren't caking properly in that last video, and for some reason I think they also weren't the same dye lot, because you can see that the greens are not the same shade, and it annoys me every single time I put it on. Everything else I love about this jumper, but the fact that the greens don't match up just gets on my nerves. So I actually think I might frog this entire jumper and just start from scratch, because I've also learned a lot more about constructing raglans at this point. So yeah, I think I might get rid of this one and just start again. We'll see. But that's all I have to say about this jumper. VTube Jazzy out. Back to you, real life Jazzy. Okay, now we're moving into chaos territory right now. After I'd made so many big projects, I once again got quite burnt out, and I needed some things that were quick and easy and fun to make. This first one was a choice and I made it late at night. It was Delulu hours, but it came out pretty cool. So anyway, I'll just cut to the chase. This is a little bit of a spoiler for the new 1.6 update of Stardew Valley. But if you've ever played Stardew Valley before, you'll know that there are like a bajillion different types of hats in the game, and a lot of people collect all the hats. But there's a new one in the 1.6 update called the Squid Hat. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, yes, I would like that in real life. So I made it, and it looks like this. I do have a little TikTok-esque video that I will post at some point of me making this piece, but I'm scared to post it because there are moments in this video where it looks really inappropriate, and I don't want anyone to say anything about it, but it had to happen for the piece to be created, and here it is. It doesn't stay up properly. There is a bit of dowel in it to keep it upright, but it still flops around. But I think it looks pretty good. I think it looks pretty accurate to the one in-game, so I'm pretty proud of myself, quite frankly. But yeah, I want to work my way through a lot of the different types of hats in the game. I think that'd be pretty cool. I love the idea of making things from pop culture. You know, in the past I've made like Finn's hat from Adventure Time. I've made hats inspired by Animal Crossing characters. Yeah, I just think it's really fun to kind of be creative in that way, to kind of take a character and put it onto a hat. I don't know, I just think it's really fun. But yeah, this is my Squid Hat. This is one of many hats that I have made in the last month. But moving on, next up is a hat that is also from a video game called Bugsnax. If you've never played Bugsnax, you need to pause this video, go play Bugsnax, and come back. It is such a good game, and it has such a good like twist at the end. It's just so good. TLDR, there's all these like little creatures that are made out of different foods. So there's this like one creature that's made out of a burger, and like it's got French fries for legs, and it runs around going bunga 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 bunga. It's so funny. But one of the characters wears a hat which looks like a Strabby from the game, and ever since I saw it I was like, yes again, I would like that in real life. And I've been wanting to make it ever since we played the game months and months ago, but I finally got around to making it. So here's my Strabby hat, and it's really cute. I really love how this came out. It's basically just a strawberry with eyes. So yeah. But it looks cute. It's got these little leaf things coming down by the ears. The main like pattern that I used to make this hat was I followed a tutorial by Passionate Kelsey on how to make a knit beanie, and then I just adapted it. I didn't make it as long, stuff like that. So yeah, I kind of adapted it to fit my knitting style and needs, and then I just crocheted the little leaf ears and the eyes, and then added duplicate stitch little strawberry seeds onto it. I don't know, I just think it's really cute, and I actually think I will wear this one out. I think it's like not goofy enough to not be able to wear out, if that makes sense. Like I think it's the perfect amount of goofy. And then, like I was saying earlier, I have made hats inspired by characters from Animal Crossing. So one of my favourite villagers in Animal Crossing that I also share a birthday with is Roald. And I have made a crochet bucket hat inspired by him before, but it's really bad. It's like awful. So when I made the Strabby hat, I was like, okay, this looks good. Let's just do another one for Roald. So here it is. This one's more low-key. Again, this is probably like goofy enough to be able to wear out without looking too goofy, you know? Again, these were great stash busters. If you have enough yarn, like it took like one full skein of Aran weight yarn to make these hats, and it's doubled up, so it's like realistically like using 2 halves of a skein, if that makes sense. Yeah, these are really good stash busters, which you're about to see in a minute. I made a lot of hats this month, okay? So moving on from Roald, we have all the knitted beanies I have made this month. This bag right here is full of knitted beanies and crochet bucket hats that I have made in the last like 2 weeks since learning how to make them. It's full to the brim. There's the Strabby hat. It's an addiction, but it's a good one. And all of these was using yarn from my stash, which is why I keep making them, because I need to use up this yarn. I need to stop buying yarn, and I need to actually use the yarn that I have. And what's perfect about these ones is because they're like chunky beanies, I can like I can either double up Aran yarn, I can triple up DK yarn, I could use a chunky yarn and a DK yarn and make like a cool variegated kind of look. Yeah, I'll kind of like put like my either top favorites or like you'll see like a bunch of them here. But like I had some where I was holding like white yarn with a rainbow yarn and it just looks really, really cool. I just love how these come out and they all look so unique. I have a lot of what I call faux hair, which is fake mohair, that I'd bought from like charity shops ages ago, and I haven't had like the project to use it because I don't have tons of it, so I didn't want to run out. But I like paired it up with like the purple mohair and purple yarn to make this really cute like fuzzy hat. Yeah, knitted beanies are where it's at, and also where it's at are crochet bucket hats. I have made again so many of these. I used to make these a lot when I first started crocheting, but I've now found a better tutorial, also thanks to Passionate Kelsey who put me onto this tutorial. I don't remember the exact name of the YouTube video, but I will put it on the screen. And again, I've slightly adapted the pattern to fit my crochet needs and crochet techniques. But yeah, addicted to making bucket hats in both acrylic and cotton. I have a lot of cotton yarn that I haven't used yet because it's quite precious to me. There's just something about cotton yarn that is like sacred. And I was sent a lot of it, so I don't want it to go to waste. The acrylic ones aren't, you know, great for summer because they are still warm, but they're good for like, you know, that period of like when it's either getting warm or it's getting cool, you know, that like crossover period. But the cotton ones are really nice for summer because it keeps you shaded but it's still like breathable and cool. So yeah, lots of crochet bucket hats, lots of knitted beanies have been made during the last 2 weeks, not even over the last couple of months. So the last thing I have to talk to you guys about is my 2024 project, which is my square a week blanket. Now we're actually pretty far behind. I haven't finished all of the squares that are actually needed for this past 3 months, but again, I got burnt out and there were like weeks where I couldn't think of what to make until like the week after, so I then got behind on that. But anyway, so for week 13 I made a little square that had the ducks from my mom's sweater on it because I had finished that sweater during that month. Really like that one. I think it's cute, sweet and simple, quick and easy. For week 14 I made a square inspired by the cover art for the Mountain Head album by Everything Everything because it's the week that we went to see Everything Everything, obviously. I like this one. I'm not a huge fan of the album art for this album. Sorry, but it had to be commemorated, you know? For week 15, this is a fun one. So me and Scott got really into eating Doritos and salsa. So this one I called Chip and Dip, and it's a graph of a chip and dip with arrows pointing to the chip and the dip saying chip and dip. I don't know, it's just fun, silly, goofy. But I actually really like this square. I think it came out really cute. I did surface crochet for the like letters. I love the colours. I don't know, there's just something really fun about this square. And yeah, what's your favourite chip and dip combo? Mine's cool Dorito and sour cream and chive dip. I believe Scott's is... What's your chip and dip combo, Scott?
Spicy.
Spicy what?
Spicy dip.
Spicy salsa and...
Just, I think, plain salted chip.
Plain salted chip. You can't have hot chip and hot dip.
No.
That's too hot.
But also, I like guac.
You like guac.
I like
yeah.
hummus.
Yeah.
I like chili chip.
Chili chip, yeah. Like a Sensations chili, sweet chili chip.
Thai.
Is that what they...
Thai chili.
Is it Thai chili? Yeah, the like Sensations ones was like a... With like a... Even with a sour cream would be pretty good. Or like a guac would probably be pretty good as well.
Sour cream?
Sour cream, yeah. Sour cream and chive is mine.
I'm just a dip enjoyer.
You're a dip enthusiast. So. But what's your favourite chip and dip combo? Let me know in the comments down below. For week 16, I did a like quill and ink for the Tortured Poets Department album release. Is it my favourite Taylor Swift album? No. I do think it's good. I don't listen to every single song on the album every single time, but I did enjoy the album, and it came out during week 16. I didn't do anything else that week, so it kind of had to be done. So moving on.
Which one's that?
Tortured Poets Department. What? Anyway, week 17 was a really difficult week to figure out what I was going to do for it, because I went to London and I did so much in London. We saw Take That, we went to the Frameless exhibition, which was really cool, and we also saw Hamilton. So I was like, how do I fit these 3 things onto a square? And I couldn't, so I opted to just go for these 3D glasses, which is kind of a reference to the Take That concert, because there's a point where you put the 3D glasses on and the screen is like 3D. It's pretty cool. Not a huge fan of this square personally, but it means something to me, so that's all that counts. But yeah, I just couldn't fit everything into this square. It was so sad. I was trying to figure out like what I could merge to put like Take That and Hamilton and an art exhibition all into one square. Just wasn't going to work out, so 3D glasses it was. Week 18 was pretty fun actually. I wanted the Animal Crossing Monopoly board ever since it came out, but it's so expensive. It was like £30–40 for the board. But then the Entertainer was doing a huge sale on it and I managed to get it for £8. So now I am the proud owner of the Animal Crossing Monopoly board, and we played it and it was alright actually. It wasn't your typical Monopoly style board and like gameplay. It was very different actually, but it was fun. It was okay. But I loved how the board looked, so I made a little square that looked like the Monopoly board. Week 19 was pretty cool. If you live in the UK, you will know that we were able to see the Northern Lights from our back garden. How fun! This square also took a long time to kind of perfect the graph for, because if you know anything about crochet tapestry, you'll know that getting curves in a graph is really difficult because of the way that the stitches line up. Unlike knitting, crochet stitches aren't like one on top of each other, they're like left and right of each other. So getting a curve is really hard. So I had to do a lot of revisions, I had to do a lot of editing as I made it. But I like how this came out. Me and my mum loves the sky, she loves stars, she loves anything to do with that. So we actually drove to like random country road where there was like no light pollution, and we stood there for quite a while, like an hour, and just watched the Northern Lights, watched them move, took lots of pictures, and it was really nice. It was a really cool thing to experience. We've always wanted to go to Iceland to see the Northern Lights, and we don't need to anymore, so there's that. Week 20, I went to see Take That again. So the first time we saw them at the O2 Arena, I think it is, in London, and this time around we saw them in Birmingham, and it was really fun. Again, love Take That. If you don't like Take That, you're just boring and you don't enjoy life. What can I say? No, I'm just kidding. But I love Take That. I've been to so many Take That concerts because my mum and my auntie are just the biggest fans, and we always have a great time. And I did the This Life logo, which is from their newest album, and I really like how this one came out as well. Again, it's really hard to do text with crochet because, again, because of how the stitches line up and everything. But again, I've kind of figured out how to like get movement in crochet graphs after doing so many of them. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this came out. I think it looks really nice. Week 21, I finished the Loki series on Disney+. I'm like the biggest fan of Loki. I love Loki so much. He's my favourite Marvel character ever. I've loved him since I saw Thor 1. Biggest fan of Tom Hiddleston ever. I've been obsessed with him ever since Thor 1. So yeah, I finished the Loki series. I'd already watched season 1. I hadn't watched season 2. Loved it. Thought it was really cool. I'm very excited to see what happens next. But I did the Loki like TV series logo, I guess, and this one was fun to do because of the text. Again, like each of the letters are a different shape, so I had to really do a little bit of finessing whilst making it, but I really like how this came out. It's pretty simple. Let's move on. Week 22 was one of the first weeks of Pride. Happy Pride! And I wanted to do something to commemorate that. If you guys don't know or aren't aware, I am non-binary. My pronouns are she, they, with a preference towards they, them. So I wanted to kind of incorporate something to do with the non-binary flag, but also when I think about like gender journey, I guess, it all stems from from being within the crafting community. When I first started streaming on Twitch, I had a very large kind of like queer audience that would join me, which was so much fun. And then going to a art university as well, where everyone was kind of experimenting, or, you know, we had all different kinds of people go into an art uni, you can imagine. And it really just like opened my eyes and you know, broadened my perspective, and made me think inwards about myself. And so I wanted to pay homage to the crafting community in it as well. So I crocheted this little ball of yarn that are in non-binary colors. I really like this. I really like this one. I think it's really cute. You could definitely adapt it to have like whatever colors you want. You could put the lesbian colors in, you could put trans colors, pan colors, any kind of colors you want in it to kind of represent your identity. So I think this is a really fun, like, customizable piece. But yeah, I really like this. I really like this square. And then the last square that I've made so far, I do need to make one more, is this really cute sunflower that I made to commemorate my friend Fraser. We met Fraser and his girlfriend Mia a little under a year ago now. No, a little over a year ago, I think, at a local music festival. We bumped into them when we were just walking about and ended up spending the rest of the evening with them. Mia has a small business with knitwear and handmade sewed clothing, so she's super cool. We bonded over kind of the crafting community as well, and Scott and Fraser were yapping about music. So yeah, just two of the coolest people we've ever met, and now anytime Fraser is near us, we try and go see him. But yeah, during this week we went to see him in his hometown of Colchester for his 1000th gig, and it was just so much fun. It was just so much fun. The atmosphere was great, the band were incredible, Fraser was amazing. We hung out with them afterwards and just had like the best time. So yeah, I wanted to commemorate that square with a sunflower, which is kind of like Fraser's thing, his logo. And I really like how this square came out. I think it looks really nice. I love the colours and I love the shape. So yeah, that is all of my Square Week blanket that I've made so far. It's not as many as I need. I need to make some more, but I'm just behind. What can I say? What can I say? But yeah, I believe that is everything that I've made in April, May and June of 2024. Halfway through the year, how crazy is that? Scary. It's gonna be Christmas soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate you sticking around whilst I ramble on about crochet and knitting this time around. Let me know what you guys have been up to. Like I said, it's always fun to hear what you guys have been making. What are your favorite things to make? What are you planning on making? I don't know, let me know. I've been posting a lot of shorts recently just to see how I vibe with it, and to also kind of like be able to share some more short form content with my YouTube community, because obviously I post a lot on Instagram and TikTok, but I've never really used shorts before, and it's going pretty well, so thank you guys for the support on that. We're nearly at 3.5k subs on YouTube, which is pretty awesome. So if you did enjoy the video, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It'd be amazing to have you here, and come follow me on my other socials. I've started streaming again, in quotation marks. I've been live twice in the last 2 weeks. It's still nerve-wracking for me to go back to it, but we'll see. So if you want to follow me on my socials, I'm Jazzy0451 everywhere. And yeah, without further ado, have a wonderful rest of your day, night or evening wherever you are. Drink some water, look after yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys!